Welcome to Diving Deep with Yeska. And the reason why I have this mic and this mic is because I'm fucking trying to figure out my settings for my recording software. I upgraded from my old all-in-one desktop to my MacBook just because I was having issues with processing and it freezing on me. So anyway, long story short, I wasn't able to transfer my old Studio One software to this one, so I'm trying to figure that out. And on top of that, I'm having issues connecting the interface. So that is why estoy aquí enfrente de ustedes, but I'm in my old comfy chair still. But anyway, so hello, welcome. If it's your first time here, yeah, welcome. Hopefully I don't scare you away, but today's gonna be a really quick one while my daughter is asleep, and I wanted to talk about something. So there is such a thing as it being okay when you want to exit a relationship or break up with somebody if severe things are happening, if it's toxic, or you've consistently communicated your needs effectively. There's ways to communicate, guys, or effective ways to communicate. But let's say you're doing all the things right, nothing's happening. It's okay to have those thoughts of leaving, right? But what I want to talk about today is those thoughts. If you've ever had thoughts and this is like a pattern, if you are able to just take a minute and look back in your current relationship, past relationships, like just look at all your long-term significant relationships or any in general, and I want you to take a note of how you feel and how you think when any type of conflict comes up, okay? And I'll tell you why at the end of this episode, at the end of this little talk. And so I'll give you, for example, my pattern over the years, which I was unaware of until recently, was anytime there was conflict, or I would say at least half the time, this was a thing that in my thoughts, I wouldn't say it out loud, but I would be thinking immediately. I'd feel like this constriction of like my heart, my chest, and like this feeling of feeling trapped, wanting to escape, like just a very strong urge to escape. Or sometimes it would be like thoughts like, that's it, we gotta break up, it's not gonna work out, or just a bunch of scenarios of why this is not going to work out with this person. And it could be like small disagreements. Like there was always this nagging feeling and thought at the back of my mind that, like, just constantly running through scenarios of when it was gonna end, or why it was gonna end, or that I wanted it to end, or just, I don't know why, but like, well, I know why now, but I didn't know why then. So if any of these ring a bell to you and you find yourself like, oh shit, you know what, that's literally what I think, like when I'm pissed on my boyfriend, I'm like, you know what, that's it, we're gonna break up. Like that was literally like my ultimatum, was breaking up with people. And it's because I didn't know how to communicate effectively. I thought I was good at communicating, which I communicated, but lo and behold, fast forward some years, and now educated in, this relationship shit and doing a deep dive, I wasn't communicating effectively. But either way, my habit was to exit the relationship or to leave when there was issues. I did sometimes give the silent treatment, or like give them the same like taste of their medicine, and that was like my go-to. So if you are constantly doing this, or this is like your pattern, that is a huge red flag. It is not okay, and you shouldn't think that you're gonna break up, or you shouldn't think that you want to break up, or you shouldn't think that it's time. Well, yeah, just pretty much anything that has to do with ending or running away, or how it's not going to work out, or that you can't see yourself long term with this person, or you get bored or tired of a person after a while. Just even finding excuses to why it won't last. This is definitely a red flag and a bad pattern that we must check. And I'm telling you, because I dealt with this for years, and until last year I didn't know what the fuck was going on, because I even did it in my current relationship. Granted, he gave me good reasons and it wasn't anything crazy, but being older, I at the very least knew that I had my boundaries, my needs, my wants, and they were being impeded upon. So, with that being said, I knew that I was worth it to have, these things that were also communicated, um, and prior starting our relationship. So, anyway, tangent, whatever. But I ended up realizing after I did my attachment style quiz, I realized that there was a lot of things, and I'm like, wait a minute, I am not as this and that. Maybe I am trying to run away, because like things would happen and it wouldn't be anything crazy, but I'm like, oh no, like we're not gonna make it, or no, I don't know, I can't see us forever. And like I remember I used to tell him not all the time, but when we have conversations of like being together for long term, and I was like, you know what, you just never know what's gonna happen, or if we end in one day, I'm completely at peace with it, yada yada yada. I'm not saying that I wouldn't be now. Yes, I'd be sad, but it was like my cop out pretty much. And it was a very unhealthy pattern. And I didn't realize I was doing it, even if I wasn't doing it in a bad way. And even though I know that I had my standards that weren't being met, this was an unchecked pattern. And so, long story short, or long story long, I am a fearful avoidant attachment styles. If you know anything about attachment styles, there's four attachment styles. So this is the secure, which we all should be striving to be securely attached. And then there's anxious preoccupied, and there's fearful avoidant or disorganized attachment, and dismissive avoidant. So fearful avoidant are a mixture of anxious and dismissive, so you get the worst and the best of both worlds, if you will. And it's a very complex attachment style, and is highly correlated to people that have endured a lot of trauma. And that is one of the main ways you're able to tell. Not the main way, but huge thing to look at if you've gone through. Doesn't mean that you're automatically a fearful avoidant if you've gone through a lot of trauma, because you could have been conditioned differently, or your mind as a child or as an adult might have seen things differently. But as a fearful avoidant, and even a dismissive avoidant, in some cases, dismissive avoidance tends to think things more logically, and they, just the whole emotional side of things is very, very void. And so anything that has to do with emotions, or like, for them particularly, I would say that they tend to get that way with more of the major conflicts. And also, if you impede on a dismissive avoidance, like time their freedom, if you criticize them, like that's huge. They want to run away, they want to do silent treatment, they want to like shut down and get away and whatnot. So that's how fearful avoidance is similar to a dismissive avoidant, because we can also have that tendency to shut down, to pretty much avoid the situation, run away, we feel trapped, etc., etc. And so that's a very common characteristic. So if you in your life, you take note of your relationships, if you find yourself that you're trying to do this cop out, or that's your cycle or pattern with different people, it's time to look at that in the face. There's a reason why you're feeling that way, and it's time to pretty much face your things. It doesn't mean you have to go reliving a bunch of things, but you can take from what you know and from what you patterns, and then like sit with yourself anytime you have like a conflict with a significant other. It could be romantic, it could be family, and just take note of what you do. Like if you find yourself that you want to run away, or you just want to end things, or that's like your go-to ultimatum, that's not the healthiest way. And it depends on, I guess, what it is you're needing in a relationship. but figure out ways how to communicate effectively. And some things could be like, okay, I said what I wanted and they didn't listen, right? But how did you say it? There's a difference between, I'm trying to think of a scenario like, um okay, I got one. So one example would be like you're telling your partner, you never hang out with me, why don't you make time for me, and blah 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 blah. Immediately that person's probably gonna get on the defense and they're not going to hear you. What their body's gonna hear or feel is going to feel criticism, rejection, shame, etc. So the most effective way to communicate with somebody is by coming at it from a neutral place, being very direct, and also like give very specific examples of how you expect or want that person to meet your needs. For example, if you are the type of person that likes flowers on Mother's Day and little gifts when they go travel places and whatnot, and the way you tell your partners like is when they come back, they're like, did you get me anything? Oh, how could you forget about me? Or I want you to do more things for me, or I want you to surprise me. If you put yourself in their shoes, think about it. Like you might know what you want, but sometimes people need a roadmap, and that's okay. It's not to hate them, but they cannot read our minds, and they definitely will not understand or hear you when you're coming at it the wrong way, if you will. Um, so before you communicate your needs, I would highly recommend you being in a regulated state of mind and body. That way you don't come off as like you're attacking them, if that makes sense. So yeah, again, to like, let's say for example, if you tell them, oh, I want you to do nice things for me. Okay, they're like, okay, in their mind, let's say you wanted flowers, but in their mind, you never told them that, right? So in their mind, they're like, okay, she wants me to do, or they want me to do nice things for them. Okay, so they end up cooking you a meal and you really don't give a shit about that, right? So when you communicate your needs, it matters that you're regulated, it matters that you're direct, it matters that you don't come accusatorily, in an accusatory manner, whatever. And paint the picture. That's something I learned from Thais Gibson, is to paint the picture. What does that look like? Hey, I would like if I would feel loved if you this and this and that, or I would love it if you surprise me with roses every so often, or I would love it if you surprise me with little gifts whenever you go out traveling. They know exactly how to do that, how to surprise you, how to, blah, blah, blah. And this will go around their wounds. The wounds, whether it's criticism, whether it's shame, whether it's or just not being like specific enough and plain and simple. So these are a couple of samples. I hope they work. I mean, I hope you understand, and I hope that you're able to implement them. Again, this is for you. I'm calling you out, the fearful avoidant, a woman, man, whatever. And yeah, like if any of the above situations, patterns has, tickled your brain, it is time to take a look at them and take time to look at your communication style and the way you do it, when you do it. And yeah, slowly but surely this will improve your relationships overall. And with that, I having a brain fart right now. I'm having a glitch. Um, Thank you so much for listening if you're still here. And I believe by next time I should have my whole recording stuff figured out. Um, and yeah, I will be talking more about little tips and tricks regarding the attachment styles, the different ones. I just wanted to bring up first and foremost a fearful avoidant, because yo girl is a recovering fearful avoidant woman, and it has helped so much to be able to communicate effectively, to know this pattern, because now when I look at my relationship, whenever we have altercations, whenever we have any kind of conflict, big or small, I don't have those thoughts anymore. I'm not like, oh my gosh, like my body, my sensations aren't constricted, or I don't feel like I want to run away, or I don't feel like, like, what am I going to do? Or yeah, just that inner voice saying like, oh, what's going on, or like danger, 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 or danger, 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 like Steve Irwin from Crocodile Hunter would say. My body is no longer shooting out these emotions, which shoot out these actions, or thoughts that I want to break up, or that this is not going to work out, or this isn't for me, or this isn't right, whatever the case, whatever my thought process is at that moment. When conflict happens now, yes, I get annoyed. Yes, I'm like, oh my God, like this guy, or you know what, whatever, or I'm over it, like I'm just overstimulated type shit, not over it as in over the relationship. And yeah, and that's it. Like I just get over it and that's it. Or I tell him like, hey, I'm sorry, I was, overstimulated, blah 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 blah. Or I'm just tired. Hey, I'm sorry for, being cranky. I just blah 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 blah. But it's never ever anymore like this impending doom that something is going to end or that it needs to end. And I can tell you that feels so good. And I feel like so safe in my relationship thanks to him, but also thanks to me. And yeah, now when I look at him, I don't tell him, oh, I don't know if it's going to last, or I don't know, da 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 da. It's like we're making plans. And even though the future is uncertain and we don't know, and we may even break up in the future, you never know. People change, right? But those thoughts are not like, oh, we might break up. It's more like, hey, we just know that anything could happen anytime. But that's not the mentality we're going in. It's like, no, we're in this together. We love each other and we're gonna work through this, and we're here for each other. I got his back, he's got mine, and I don't care if we get annoyed, I don't care if we get mad, we're gonna work through this. That is my mentality these days, and I'm so happy that that's how it is now. And we both grown so much. And yeah, I just gotta say, guys, that's a pure example of how things were before, how things look now, and then how things might be for you right now, but how could they also could be in the future if you just work on these things. But that's all I have for you today. Please rate my show if you have the time, and if I brought anything useful for you today, if I helped you even with a tiny little thought that you're like, oh, great, or a little light bulb moment or whatever, or you laughed at my, brain farts or whatever, that's cool too. Rate my show, share with a friend. I definitely want to grow my podcast this year, next year. It's not going anywhere. I know it's up now, up and down, but it's not going anywhere. Bear with me. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.